All right, everybody, welcome to another Dead by Daylight video. Today I brought on the amazing Kaiser, and who's a very big friend of the channel, and we are going to be talking about the public test build, specifically the most recent one with the twins, but more so talking about the whole points of a public test build, because this has come into question, and a lot of people have been very disappointed about the most recent one we had, as well as what is even the point of testing all this stuff if it's just going to go away. Kaiser, if you'd like to introduce yourself. I know most people already know who you are, but
my name is Kaiser. I make Dead by Daylight discussion videos, and I also cry when I masturbate, which is incidentally the same intro I have for my dating profile.
I've seen it and I'm aware. Also your phone went off.
It did. I just silenced it.
So the most recent PTB was the twins rework, and it has been basically reverted and is now only quality of life changes. Now, me, you, and many others have been praising, quote unquote, praising behavior for listening to the community and not letting the changes go live. However, a lot of people were not huge fans of it because now it feels like we waited 2 years and basically got nothing. But that brings into question the whole point of, if we're going to put it on the PTB and we're giving our feedback and behavior listens to it and people are still going to get mad about it, what is the point of a PTB in the first place?
That's a great fucking question. Because my understanding is that people used to ask what the point of a PTB was because behavior never listened in the past. And now behavior does listen, and now people are still like, oh, what's the point? The Dead by Daylight community is never happy.
The thing is, because we talked about this a little bit beforehand, but other games do PTB kind of things. They're all called different things. I can't remember what Leagues is called. But Riot has come out, and this was years ago, because they've gotten better about this also. They used to do PTB type things where basically a character gets released, and they put it on the PTB, and it gets tested for, I think it's 2 weeks for League, and then it gets added to the game. And the whole point of that, back in the past, Riot has been very, very, very vocal about this. It was a marketing ploy. That was the whole point. It was to allow them to build hype for something 2 times. And I feel like that's the cynical way to look at it, and I feel like it is how Dead by Daylight and Behavior used to treat the PTB.
Right.
Because from a business perspective, that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
But you know, over the years, a lot of companies have gotten better about it. But with the twins one, like in particular, all of us gave feedback on it. Speaking of, to everyone who said that I was just being a negative Nancy about the PTB, I won. So
Dude, I will admit, the PTB, that was the worst PTB I have ever experienced since I started this game. That was terrible.
The thing is, people kept telling me like I was being, like, everyone was being so negative about it, and I was like, listen, if me, Kaiser, and Bran, the 3 people who are probably the most like on behavior side on things, are telling people it's bad, it's probably bad.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I've been accused of sucking behavior's dick. I defend them so much, but like that was fucking awful. That was terrible.
Someone will probably use this against me. I didn't even play it. I didn't even bother.
It was a waste of time. I spent an hour redown because apparently we have to re-download the fucking game whenever we do it. But I spent an hour re-downloading it. I played it for 2 hours and then I got the fuck off. And it was just one of the worst experiences of my fucking life. It was so bad.
But once again though, it's like, so if we're doing it, they put it on the PTB to test these massive changes. It wasn't a new character. It wasn't new anything. It was a rework that has been anticipated for about 2 years. Someone corrected me and told me it was 2.5. Whatever. Anyways, 2 years. And it finally comes out. It's bad. Should it have gone onto PTB in the first place? Should this have been the iteration? No, but that's the thing. They were trying it. and they got the feedback from the community, a massive amount of feedback, because I don't care how many QA testers they have, millions of people logging into a PTB to give them testing is going to be bigger than a QA team. That doesn't mean they shouldn't have quality tested it more so than they did, because
Yeah.
as much as I am not in their offices, I'm not going to say they didn't quality test it, because I don't think they didn't, but I don't think they quality tested it enough.
Yeah, I think it's kind of ridiculous when people are like, "Oh, they didn't even test this before they released." I'm sure they did, but I don't think anybody can argue that the QA for behavior is the best. Um, it's definitely it definitely needs some work. But like, what got me is like people were like posting like, "Oh, why didn't you ask anybody before you put this out?" They did.
I can,
That's what the PTB is fucking for.
yeah,
That's the point. They asked us. Whether or not you want them to have more QA or a bigger QA department or whatever is irrelevant, but they did ask us. And I think that a lot of problems um I think that a lot of problems that comes with I've been thinking about doing a video on this, but I think that a lot of the problems that I have with the way people are complaining about this PTB, like saying like, oh, it was 2.5 years and all we got was quality of life changes. No, that is disingenuous. Two and
yeah.
a half years gave us a rework we didn't like.
Mm-hmm.
It is entirely disingenuous to be like, oh, well, now that they've reverted the stuff that we didn't like in the first place, we waited 2.5 years for quality of life. That's you're making up a scenario to be mad at.
Mm-hmm.
And you know exactly what we waited 2.5 years for. It's not like we waited 2.5 years and then all they did was release quality of life. No, no, no. You waited 2.5 years. They released a rework. We didn't like the fucking rework, and then they reverted it, which is to be applauded. Now, am I going to sit here and pretend? Am I going to sit here and pretend like this PTB couldn't have had more to it? No, I wholeheartedly agree with that. A mediocre map rework with one killer being reworked and like 3 perks being changed, that is not enough for an entire patch, especially a mid chapter patch where you don't have to worry about adding in new content. You could have given us like actual shit. You could have reworked 2 killers at the same time. You could have done a bunch of buffs, maybe some add-on overpasses. Like you could have changed up a core mechanic in the game even. I think mid-chapter patches need to be much bigger. It like much bigger than main chapter patches, because mid chapter patches are where you don't have to worry about new shit.
Mm-hmm.
Mid chapter patches are where you can truly flex your muscles. So I'll agree that we're not getting a lot out of this patch. But let's not fucking pretend like behavior spent 2.5 years just to give us quality of life changes. They gave us what we waited for. It's just what they gave us was shit.
Yeah, and I mean, I think I bring this up all the time. 6.1, um, 6.1, which I don't think you were around for.
I was not.
Okay, yeah, 6.1 was probably arguably the biggest patch they ever did. It was a huge meta
Yeah.
shakeup. They changed like fucking 20 perks on both sides. I'm exaggerating for effect. If someone wants to give me the exact number, go for it. Um, they changed core mechanics in the game, and I mentioned this a lot. It was praised at the time for the most part. A lot of people were mad about the very specific changes, but that was probably the most excited I've been in this game in a long time. Uh, and I think we need more patches like that. And mid chapters and PTBs to me are the perfect opportunities to do that. Um, and I don't like if the whole point of a PTB is to test massive changes, or like that's the thing with me with the PTBs. The whole point to me is to just that test shit. See if it works. Like I think the PTBs, like we should be getting a PTB, like something on there that's massively changing, like every month, not every month and a half, not every 3 months or whatever. Because usually it's 3 months we get the new chapter, and then the month and a half we get the mid chapter. And the
Mm-hmm.
mid chapter is where all of these quote crazy changes happen. We haven't really had one like that in a while. Uh, and when we do, it's usually like one massive change to like a perk.
Yeah.
And then the hype dies down for it in like a week. That's a whole other discussion. But like the Unbreakable Mori one is another one, and let's just say I've gotten some shit for bringing that one up. It, one, okay, you know what? I'll say it. I did a video on Unbreakable being base kit. My arguments in that video were terrible. It's a bad video. Whatever. Anyways, uh, a lot of a lot of the bigger arguments I got against it was they tried it in PTB and people hated it and it didn't work. Okay, try it again. Adjust it.
I agree with that. I didn't get to play that PTB, but it makes no sense to me why it was just completely abandoned. Like there is a 4-man bleed out problem in the game, and something needs to be done about it. And we can keep changing numbers and changing the way things work until we get to that point. I just they just abandoned it. I mean, I only ever heard about it through the grapevine because I started in the Knights PTB. So that was the mid chapter before I started was the base kit Unbreakable, and I haven't heard anything about. I would have never known that it got tried unless somebody on Reddit wouldn't have brought it up to me, like half a year into me playing this game.
It's one of those things too, because it wasn't just like they like were like, okay, we tried, it didn't work, we're gonna go back to the drawing board. No, they didn't say anything. Like they were just like, okay, it didn't work, and then we didn't hear like reasonings, we didn't hear like we're gonna try it again one day or anything like that. They were just like, fuck it, no one liked it, we're never doing it again. I'm being hyperbolic, but obviously, like, same with the Mori changes in that pet. Like I've said for years, Moris need to be part of the game in some way that isn't just offerings and like a perk here and there. And once again, like I feel like the PTP would be the perfect place to test it and see if it works. And if it doesn't, take the feedback, change things, adjust it, try it again. Just like with the Twins rework. It's like, okay, well, this Twins rework didn't work. And also, on the Twins rework thing, anyone who was expecting them to come out with a second rework in less than 2 weeks, I don't know how you know things work. That's not how shit works.
Dude, I saw so many people, like, okay, so the DS animation got, like, kind of fucked. And people were like, oh, well, just removing it was incredibly lazy. And I was like, they don't have a lot of time to adjust stuff. And the DS animation, the part of the problem was that it fucked with the timing. You could just drop a survivor and then they wouldn't get their DS. Another part of the problem was that the stun actually ended up being like 3.6 seconds. But then another problem people complained about was that it looked bad. So behavior was probably like, oh, okay, so maybe we should update the animation a little bit. They don't have long to do this.
No.
Because I think it takes like 2 weeks to approve patches through consoles.
Yeah.
Especially with Sony, because Sony's like a fucking bunch of jackasses when it comes to that kind of stuff. Ironic, by the way, the PlayStation 2 was one of the greatest gaming consoles of all time because of its third-party support, and nowadays Sony's like, third-party stuff? Oh, I don't know about that. Like, come on, dude. Like,
they're mad at their ex. That's all it is. They're just
yeah. Oh my god, bro. In any case, it's one of those things where like people just don't understand the back end of game development and game design. Like, I swear the way people view it is you're just like, oh, I want this character to be able to shoot machine guns out of their nipples, and then they just hit a button that says machine gun nipples on it, and now the character can shoot machine guns out of their nipples. Like that's not how game development works. You don't just hit it. The shit takes time.
Yeah.
And especially on this fucking especially on this
spaghetti
this
code.
this like shit ass coding back when Behavior was a small company with like 3.5 people in a coffee machine in one booth that we're working with. Like, it's definitely harder. Like, look how much shit just randomly breaks that is completely unrelated to anything that has happened. Like, you know what I mean? It's one of those things where people just don't understand the back end, and so they're all fucking extra bitchy. And it drives me insane. It drives me insane that people are like, Behavior doesn't listen. Hey, here's an entire patch where they listened. Well, now I'm gonna complain because they listened. Shut up.
Like once again, it's like like I said, back in the day, like the PTBs, the whole point pretty much was marketing and maybe to fix bugs before they happened. Or like live bugs before they came out. But even bugs like I'm not going to defend Binding of Kin. It's also ironic that the two worst PTBs are both twins. um, like I'm not going to defend them in the sense of like they don't have time to fix bugs because whatsoever reason. But like at the same time, if they release a PTB and we know how long it takes, it's 3 weeks every single time. Uh, it's 3 weeks to the almost to the day that PTB will go live.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the bugs are probably going to stay, regardless if we report them, regardless if they are aware of them. Um, Once again, not defending that point. My point is 3 weeks is not as much time as I think people think it is. Especially with a game
Well,
especially with a game
yeah,
as shitty coding as this one has.
yeah, and again, realistically, they only have like a week and a half
Mm-hmm.
at max because we have to wait for consoles. We have to wait for consoles to approve the patches, and a fucking video on Reddit just started autoplaying and scared the shit out of me. Anyway, um, that's what I get for having ADHD and scrolling websites while I'm talking. But so the problem is that the problem is the time investment occurs. But the other problem is that I'm scared. I'm scared that this is going to cause behavior to not try shit. Remember in our last time we chatted,
Mm-hmm.
I was talking about behavior plays things too safe.
Yeah.
I am fucking petrified that this is going to cause behavior to stay too safe. Because yeah, the twins rework was shit, but at least they fucking tried it.
We talked about it and I brought it up. I'm a huge fan of throwing shit at the wall and seeing what works. Even
Hmm.
if it's bad, like this didn't come to life. That's the thing that I think people are for some reason forgetting. This didn't come to life. But
Yeah.
I am happy it wasn't an off the wall like complete change of their power like some people wanted, which is a whole other thing. Oh,
People who want people,
why didn't they
people.
make twins a mobility killer?
No, dude, fucking people who want to like. Here's the thing. I said when I first started, like when I first started, I was like, wow, there's a lot of bugs on the twins. Like when I first started playing them, and somebody in my chat was like, yeah, don't worry, a rework is coming, and I was like, why a rework? And they were like, what do you mean? I was like, the character doesn't need a rework. They need a couple of number adjustments and a bug overhaul.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to Linksy who was kind enough to chat with me for 4 hours about twins. Uh,
Hmm.
we both said the same thing. Neither of us, she a twins main, me a twins enjoyer. I don't really play that much, but we both said the same thing. They don't need a rework, like a full on power rework. Like, oh well, not that many people play them. Well, one, that's because of the clunkiness and the bugs. But two, they also are probably arguably the most unique killer in the game.
Yeah, they're the only ones that can have complete and utter control over the pressure you're applying on two different sides of the map.
Mm-hmm.
But also their entire play style is the most unique in the entire game. They're the only killer that can make like any kind of use out of forced penance, for example.
Mm-hmm.
No other killer can really make that much use. Even fucking Legion can't make that much use out of forced penance. They're that's just a facet of how they play. They play so vastly differently from the rest of the cast, but that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
They need to
We,
like
we need niche killers.
yeah.
The argument I kept bringing up was Larry. It's like Singularity is not that popular. He's not. It's just it's a unique play style that a lot of people don't want to put the time investment into learn. And that's not me calling people stupid. I'm just saying people don't want to put the time investment into learning Larry, which is fine. He's different, he's unique. And that's not the only reason. There's other reasons, but eh, we need niche killers.
Yeah.
Pixel said it in his video talking about twins, where it's like, this is how I've felt the past 2 to 3 years about killers. None of them have really like appealed to me. Um, like not every killer needs to be a mobility killer. Not every killer needs to be Like, not every killer needs to be a Wesker. Is my point.
Yeah.
Um,
No.
go on. I thought you were
Hmm?
gonna. I thought you were saying something.
No, I wasn't. No, I wasn't saying anything.
But
I
yeah,
was agreeing.
it's like for some reason I feel like people expected the PTB to have like they had like a back in one just in case it went bad.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, like that was another thing. Like, do you guys think that they just have like four different things that are just ready to go? Like, if something hits the fan, like be realistic for like a half a second. I know the Dead by Daylight community is like tends to be up their own ass so much that they just don't fucking understand how the real world works. But
I'm just coughing.
like yeah, no, you're fine. Like, just like realistically, you know, just please, for the sake of everything, get out of your own ass for a second and understand how the real world works and how game development works and how all of this shit works. Like, some people were like, "Oh, well, they need to start running changes by the community before it goes to the PTB." Where's the line on that? Where is the line on you want them to fucking live stream their business meetings or something? Like, where like at what point is enough for you?
And once again, it also comes down to okay, let's say they streamed this like a week before the PTB, and they showed the twins rework, and people had basically the same feedback. They were like, "This is terrible. This can't go live," and all this stuff. They're still gonna put it on the PTB to test it because the other thing, like we were talking about timelines, it's like they have 3 weeks before it goes live. Realistically, they have a week to actually fix things because they have to get it by Microsoft and Sony. And then listening to feedback, it's like they don't start listening to feedback the minute the PTB goes live. They probably let it sit for like 3 or 4 days or however long the PTB's up, and then take the feedback. Like it's like with any time someone brings up like a balance change or something, and they're like, the devs need to listen to this now and implement it like immediately. Even if they see your comment or your video or whatever, and as someone who does commentary videos, much like you and Bran, it's like, I, even if they saw it day of, it would take them a significant amount of time, for the most part, there's exceptions, to even get that to the higher ups, have it come back down the chain with an okay, and then to start coding it into the game.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I don't want to flex ages or anything, but I swear the way some people talk, I don't think they've ever worked like in a chain of command before at all.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous, and it's also like there's the chain of command, there's the time it takes to code things, and there's also like people just like people are way too up their own ass. Like, I saw somebody who was like, "Oh, behavior never listens because look at all the suggestions people have made that behavior's never implemented," and then they'll say some shit like, nobody's teachable perks should be applied to anyone
I
else.
saw that.
I got that comment on fucking Twitter. They were literally like the way to fix the game is to where everybody only has their own teachables and nothing else. And I was like, that's a horrible idea. Like, have you ever sat down and listened to the balancing opinions of this community? If behavior listened to every stupid fucking suggestion this community came up with, this game would be dead in an hour.
And
Holy fuck,
yeah,
dude.
and not to be up our own asses, we're not fucking avoidant to this either. I've had some
Oh no.
shitty
I've had some
takes.
shit fucking I've had some shit ideas, dude. My entire when I did the Trapper analysis video, the entire point of starting a new series outside of the How to Fix series is that my original Trapper video was dog shit.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking feature bloat, over buffing. I dude, like, if you go back and watch that video, I made that video when I had 300 hours in the game.
Mm-hmm.
It fucking sounds like I made that video when I had 300 hours in the game. That shit was so fucking atrocious. I hate rewatching that video so much. Oh my god, I hate it.
Yeah, I mean,
It's so bad.
I mean, even like I've said this before. Even sometimes I'll put a video out, and my opinion will change like the next 2 weeks later. Whether it's from someone commenting something that made me think about it, or maybe it's me thinking about it a little bit more. That's how. Once again, I say this all the time. It's how fucking opinions work. Anyways, um,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, it's just one of those things where people people think behavior doesn't listen. And like that's another thing too, is like people will be like, "Oh, well, behavior doesn't listen because they haven't addressed blah blah blah." And it's like, yeah, I get it. It can be frustrating that the fuckle up combo is still in the game, and behavior hasn't even acknowledged the endurance bug right now, right? I get that. That's frustrating. But to pretend like they don't listen because they don't have a perfect ass fucking like track record is ridiculous.
mhm,
Okay, so like I'm on a weight loss journey, right?
mhm.
I fuck up sometimes and I overeat when I shouldn't, or I miss an exercise session when I shouldn't. It would be fucking stupid to be like, "Oh, you're not actually trying to lose weight," because once in a while I fuck some shit up. Yeah, it's frustrating,
Well,
but you
yeah.
just you can't expect perfection. Behavior are not video game making machines.
Well,
Like,
it's also like I for some reason I get it. This is just how we talk about companies, but like it's not just one dude in a cubicle. Matthew Cote is not making this game himself. Like that's not how this works. That's not how anything works for the most part, right? So it's not like one dude sitting there like scrolling Reddit on YouTube all day, like, oh, that's a good idea. We should put that in. And then he just fucking turns his chair around and starts coding it.
yeah.
That's not how this shit works.
That's what, dude. I fucking you know what argument I hate in it's every not just Dead by Daylight community, but every single one. Oh, why are they making these cosmetics when they should be balancing the game?
It's a different team.
Because those are two different departments.
It's a different.
Because the guy who does the jiggle physics on Jane's ass is not the same one who's adjusting fucking boil over. Like that's not those aren't the same people.
Like it's like when at work, I'm a manager at work. Like people are like, why aren't you helping up front? Because I'm doing my other job. And that's a bit of a different one because I have like 7 jobs. But the point is, like the art team, the cosmetic team, the balance team. I don't even know if they have a balance team. That's not me sliding. I don't know the internal structure of behavior.
Yeah.
I don't know if they have a balance team versus a gameplay team because in some game companies those are the same thing. In some game companies they're two different things.
Yeah.
I don't know if they have one specifically for now that we're getting them. I don't know if they have a different one for events. I don't know if they have a team for maps specifically, or if that's part of the gameplay. Like that's what I'm saying. We also don't know the internal structure. So it's like for all we know, the guys who make the maps are a whole other team from the guys who make balance decisions.
Yeah.
Which would explain a lot, but
that would explain a fuckload.
But like with the PTB, it's like because even like the Haddonfield, like I don't even know if New Haddonfield's good or bad. I've heard both sides, and I don't mean like survivor or killer. I mean like good or bad sides. I've heard both sides of the argument that it's better now. I've heard some say it's good or worse now. I legitimately don't know. But they're going through with the changes on Haddonfield because I don't think people were nearly vocal enough if it was really bad.
It was it's going to be great for killers. it's going to be like one of like 5 killer sided maps, you know, right along with Mid Bitch and Rotten Fields. It's going to be fucking amazing for killers. It's tiny. It's got basically no loops to work with. There's like 7 pallets on the map. It's going to be fantastic for killers. But it's going to be miserable as fuck as a survivor. You're going to have a bad time as a survivor.
Speaking of maps being killer sided, I made a I don't remember if it was a tweet or if I said it in a I think I did it in a community post. I said I think I think maps should be slightly, that was the key word in that sentence. I think maps should be slightly survivor sided.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And I got ripped for that one.
I used to get so mad when I was a baby killer main and I was like pissed off at every fucking thing in the world. I used to be like, dude, there's no killer sided maps in the game. Holy shit, like fucking This sucks. As a killer, I'm just fucked by maps. And then somebody was like, yeah, but all the survivors have are maps. And I was like,
Exactly. That was my
fair
point.
enough.
And once I said slightly, I'm not talking Eerie of Crows. I'm talking like what's a decently balanced map off the top of my head?
Ormond,
Ormond's.
McMillan,
Yeah. Well,
most of the McMillan's maps, yeah.
yeah. People would argue Ormond's too strong. I
I
disagree.
don't, I don't understand. I've never seen it.
Once again, and because I'm a weirdo, because I think Eerie is Chucky's best map, so I'm a weirdo in that. That my perception, because I play a killer who's very slow and can go in basically avoid a lot of pallets, that my perception of map balance has kind of changed a little bit. Which is the other thing with map balance is fucking, like people hate indoor maps, but it's like, yeah, but some killers thrive on those maps.
We need more indoor. As the CEO of fuck indoor maps, we need another indoor map.
Yeah, we haven't had one since Hawkins came back, which
Mm-hmm.
okay. Anyways, but if the point of the BTB is to test stuff, and they do, and then they revert the changes based on feedback, even if it's not immediately on the PTB, it's like a couple months later or whatever, in the next patch, which for the most part should be the more realistic way to think about it, unless it's something massive like the Twins rework.
Mm-hmm.
And people still get mad about it, then realistically speaking, at least from the community's perspective, what is the point of the PTB?
Right.
Because why go if we're just gonna get mad about it anyways, why not just put it to live and see what happens?
Yeah. Like if you're going to be the kind of person who if you're going to be the kind of person who is like, oh well, I don't like this because it's sorry, my brain fucking froze. If you're going to be the kind of person that's like, oh well, now we don't have anything because they reverted the changes we don't like, then you just don't think a PTB should happen. And then we're going to end up getting and then this attitude as well leads to stuff like, okay, if we do get a PTB and then behavior here's our feedback, they're just going to ignore it because they're like, oh, what's the fucking point of doing what they want? You know what I mean? Like you can't have it both ways. You can't beg for behavior to listen to the community and then get mad when behavior listens to the community.
Yeah, and on top of that, like I always bring up Scavenger because I think it's one of the prime examples of this. I also think that people get extremely reactionary, and then what's the word? And then the horde mentality sets in. I think Scavenger is one of the biggest examples of this. The thing with PTB testing, I think people need to remember also, is a lot of people on the PTB are doing just that. They're just testing.
Yeah.
So something like Scavenger, where people are like, oh, this is going to bust the game because look at what it can do here. You're in a custom, pushing the perk to its absolute limit in a non-realistic setting. Even if you were in a normal game it was doing that, once again, PTB, people are going out of their way to make this work the way it is. So like something like Scavenger got completely gutted and didn't even get a chance because people thought it was going to be overpowered.
I don't actually remember
what Scavenger does.
I know what it does. I don't remember what it was like on the PTB. Did I play that PTB?
It would have been Gabe in Singularity, so maybe.
I don't remember if I played that PTB or not. I think that was during my 2-month hiatus. Because I took a 2-month hiatus earlier in the year, and then I took a 3-month one later in the year.
Yeah.
So I actually don't remember. I'd have to go back and check, but I would have did a video on it if I did, which I don't think I did.
The funny thing about that though is that the actual problematic perk got through because no one really complained about it on PTB, which was made for this.
Yeah.
Because no one was complaining about it until like a week later.
God, that fucking perk was so bad. That perk was so fucking bad. I still get fucking like PTSD flashbacks. Like sometimes somebody will be running like slightly too fast, and like my brain will like immediately jump. Oh my god, it's made for this. Fuck, they're running. Like my brain immediately jumps to that shit.
I'm pretty sure if Made for This was in the game still, I legitimate, and I know a lot of people say this, I legit as a Chucky player, I probably would not be playing this game anymore.
Oh my god, dude.
That perk would be insane for me to deal with. Which is part of why.
Dude, as a one, yeah, dude. If MFT was still in the game with Chucky, you wouldn't be able to do shit.
No, not at all. um, Once again, I think that part of me thinks that they only nerfed it because they knew he was coming. And not because of community backlash. But that's the other thing with like. So Made for This didn't get nerfed because people didn't really find out it was as powerful as it was until 2 weeks later, or a week or two later. With 6.1, which was when the 3-gen meta basically started. Here's the thing I think people forget about this, because people are like, how could behavior possibly let this go through and let this happen? People didn't realize it was a thing or a combo until 2 months after the patch came. Not the PTB, the patch came out, like, live. Like, if it took the community 2 months to figure it out, yeah, the devs probably didn't notice it either. Like I know we all joke the devs don't play their game, but even if they do, like I said earlier, like their QA team probably isn't that big. If 1 million people on PTB didn't notice it until 2 months later when it was in the live server, Behavior's QA team probably didn't notice it either. And you know, the whole talk about QA, I haven't worked in QA, but I know people who have. I think people also don't understand really what QA does. They don't. They literally, their entire job is to push some things to their limits and see if it breaks the game. That's like literally breaks the game. I don't mean like balance wise. Most of the time, QA testers aren't there to test balance.
Yeah.
They're there to test the stability of something. So even with like the Twins rework, like let's say the QA team did test it, even if they had notes on this is a little too strong, which they probably didn't because that's once again not their job. But even if they did, what's the dev team going to do with that? It's like it was a test with like maybe 20 people. Like, oh well, it was only 20 people. We'll get more data when we put it on PTB.
Yeah.
Because we know behavior loves their data, but I don't know what the community just like wants from the PTBs. That's all I'm saying. Like I want them to do more shit like the Twins rework. That's what I want personally. Because I think it's exciting, it's fun, even if it doesn't work. Like I said, just throw shit at the wall, see what sticks. Do it again. Like reiterate, revise, adapt. Like it just once again, like with the Mori system, like they brought up the Mori system where if everyone was slugged on the ground or incapacitated in some way, that's how they worded it. So if like one person's on a hook and 2 people are slugged, and then you down the last person, the game instantly ends and it goes to a Mori. Was it a perfect system? No, it had a lot of problems. It was encouraging killers to slug as fast as possible. And it made Blight, Nurse, and to a degree Oni ridiculous to go against, because that's all they would do is try to slug all 4 people at the same time at like the start of the match. But is that idea inherently bad? Like, if all 4 people are incapacitated, is it such a bad thing? Like, if there was some other condition of some kind? Like, we could reiterate it. Maybe there has to be a time limit met. Maybe, if there's a perk in play, like Unbreakable, maybe they can still get themselves up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like there's ways they could go back on that. And, like, obviously, the simpler thing would be just make Cypress Mori's base kit. Even though I've said that one before and people didn't like it. I don't know what the problem would be, but whatever. If you're the only one left and you're down on the ground, what would be the problem with me being able to Mori you?
Yeah, no, for sure. Like, there's this... I guess people are like, oh, but I could still wiggle out. Yeah, if you fucking run to a comp corner and be annoying, I guess.
Well, yeah, then at that point, the Mori is fixing a problem. Because then they can't just go to a comp corner and just, quote, bleed themselves out.
Yeah.
Even though some people don't like it when I say bleed themselves out. Oh, I didn't bleed me out. The killer did. Bitch, you went up to the 3rd floor of fucking Eyrie of Crows. I know it doesn't have a 3rd floor. Let's pretend it does. With Boil Over, when you knew there was no hooks up there. You knew what you were doing.
Yeah. Gotta love people who force the killer to do a certain style, and then they're just like, oh my god, why did the killer do this certain style?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then like there's the whole like like right now, like for the people buckle up is an issue, and I need to reiterate, it's not the only issue in the game. It's just one of the more inherent ones. Um, it's like I would love a PTB where they just test different ways of fixing it, because we've all had our own ideas for fixing it. Some have
Hmm.
just said delete the perks, which one will never happen, and two is very defeatist in my mind to think about. Like, um,
Yeah, for no, I agree. It's incredibly defeatist to just be like, well, just delete things that don't work, or we could
remove
not do stupid shit like that.
yeah, remove Skull Merchant from the game, please. Don't just put her in the game and adjust her as needed. Which touchy subject, but like that's another one that gets brought up. It's like, oh, we saw the problems with Skull Merchant from the PTB. No, we didn't. No, we didn't. I was there. We did not.
No, no, like if anything, there was a massive amount of bitching that Skull Merchant was too weak.
Yeah. Yeah. I think she got buffed after the PTB. Actually.
He did.
Yeah.
She was largely considered far too weak.
Yeah. That once again that brings in the whole mob mentality with PTBs as well. It's like, a content creator, I won't name names, but a content creator says that something like, "Oh, well, this killer is too powerful, or too weak on the PTB." Like, let's say, um, who's a recent example? I guess Chucky to a degree, even though that one went backwards. But people were saying Scamper was too good on PTB. So after it comes out and they nerf some things, it's like, okay, well now Scamper's still too good. So like, because people also wanted Slice and Dice nerfed, and people wanted the 180s gone from PTB, and it's like they can't just remove a part of, like, as much as I like think people want it gone, I don't think they can remove such an iconic thing with the character. At least in the game of Dead by Daylight at this point, like
Yeah.
that is him, but they can do number tweaks, right? And the other thing with it, like the point I was making in before I got off topic because Chucky got brought up, was a content creator will say something like Skull Merchant is too weak because I couldn't get 4Ks on PTB for some reason uh consistently, and it's like, okay, all right, cool. Now your community's gonna think that, even though for the average player she was probably fine. Um, so now they're gonna buff her, and then she's gonna come out, and you guys are gonna be mad that they buffed her, even though you
Hmm.
all said she was too weak. Well, now she's too
Yeah.
strong. Okay, well
Yeah.
they can adjust her again. Like, Skull Merchant's kind of a bad example because obviously she had to be reworked because for game health reasons. Even though it's funny because I'm curious how 3 gen Merchant would work with the current generator system of the 8 kick thing.
I actually don't. I still don't think it'd be a good idea to bring back because it's still fucking
Oh,
stupid.
no,
But
no, no, yeah, I'm not saying bring it back. I'm more just curious if it would still be as effective as it was. Um,
yeah,
Same with, well, I guess you could still do it with Night. I might. No, I'm not holding people hostage. I'm not doing that. Slugging people, I'll do that. I'll do that for testing, but I'm not gonna hold people hostage. But yeah, it's like I like, and then the whole argument of like, well, there was nothing on this PTB because of the Twins rework. That was something that got brought up a lot. Um, we got Blight Hug Tech removals, Decisive Strike. Basically at this point it's just buffed back to 5 seconds. Adrenaline got slightly nerfed. I would say slightly, but uh, something else got changed. What else got changed? There's one more thing.
hmm
What was the other thing?
Ultimate Weapon.
Ultimate Weapon got gutted. Which
Dude, that was such a big fumble.
that,
Like I don't, dude. Like I have no idea. Like.
but I think Ultimate Weapon is a good example of that. Of the community getting like so up their ass on like this is a bad change and this is why and why and why, and then behavior goes and changes it based on that feedback. And granted, that wasn't the feedback a lot of us were or at least some of us were giving. Um, But the thing is, as much as I kind of hated the newer version with the aura reading, because I was like, well, distortion just counters this. This just means calm spirit won't be brought as much. That's all it really does. Like, I was fine with it changing to that direction with a few adjustments to it.
Yeah.
But what behavior got from that, and from a lot of us bitching about it, was no, it needs to still do the screaming. It was just too overpowered, which I don't even think Ultimate Weapon was overpowered. I just
it wasn't. I Ultimate Weapon just 100% was not overpowered. The problem with Ultimate Weapon, I really hate when people are like, the problem is that no, the problem with Ultimate Weapon and why a lot of people actually didn't like it was that it happened too often.
Mm-hmm.
And so all it didn't need reworks or changes to how the locker or what the fuck ever. It didn't need none of that. All it needed was the increased cooldown time.
Mm-hmm.
Move the cooldown still let the duration be 30 seconds, move the cooldown from 30 to 60 seconds, and there. You now have the perfect perk that is balanced. Of course, people will still bitch, but people bitch about fucking scratch marks in this game, so I don't really fucking care.
My suggestion was just make it so you can do it after you hook somebody. Like, I don't like that would limit it to 11 uses and make it, because like that was the thing with the cooldown thing too. I saw someone saying, "Oh, it's a minute long. Oh, you're only going to be able to use it like 4 times a match." I mean,
what matches are you playing that are only lasting 4 minutes? How bad are you at this video game?
Those are
the only matches I ever have that last 4 minutes as a killer are ones where I either go AFK or completely dominate the survivors. How bad are you guys at this video game?
My favorite comments are ones where people tell on themselves, like anytime I talk about distortion. Speaking of, I know this is off topic. Your video got a big chuckle out of me, by the way.
Oh my god, dude! When I was making that, I was like, "Oh, this is cool. Everybody's gonna laugh at it. It's just a funny haha video." I should have fucking known. I should have fucking known with this goddamn community, dude. Holy shit! The amount of people who are retweeting that. It took less than 4 hours. Less than 4 hours. People were quote tweeting me. They were like, "Oh my god, killers complaining about distortion when they have who's complaining about distortion?" It was a funny haha video, my guy. I have an actual video talking about distortion coming out later this week. Like, if you want to actually talk, I'm gonna actually talk about it. But that was just a meme video I made in like an hour.
I'm gonna warn you about the distortion video. Get ready. Get fucking ready. God damn. I did the video on, I was talking about distortion and Lightborn because I was like, these are perks that negate playstyles on both sides, and I don't think they should straight up do that. I wasn't even saying they were overpowered. I was just saying I don't like perks that just make things not work like that as consistently as they did. Whole comment section was just, distortion is fine. It's not overpowered. It doesn't need this. Bro, I just don't think, I think people get this tokens back too easy. That's all I said. That's all I said.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
and then, like I said, the amount of people telling on themselves, just like, well, I run it because I don't want to be chased. Welcome to the problem. That's the problem with the perk. You're hurting your team and you're making the game boring for the killer. That's all you're doing. That's all you're doing. Whatever. Anyways, but yeah, that's another thing. It's like we've all come up with these ideas for like distortion changes. We haven't heard anything from Behavior. Behavior hasn't addressed it at all or mentioned it in any way, shape, or form.
yeah.
And I kind of understand why, to a degree. It's like, well, looking, and I know we hate to get on their case for like, oh, they only look at stats. At the end of the day, they can only take so much community perception without looking at the stats.
Yeah.
Because, like, if they listen to the community perception, or, like, a good example would be, like, Windows of Opportunity, right? Clearly, they don't just look at stats. If they did, that perk would have been nerfed a year ago.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I complain it's boring seeing it every match, but I don't think it's overpowered. Or, like, it needs a nerf. I just don't like that every survivor runs it. I just think it's boring. That's always been my argument with a lot of things in this game. And at that point, it becomes a question of, like, if a perk is brought so much because it's quote a comfort perk, should it just be implemented in the game somehow? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I run Bond all the time because it's my comfort perk on Survivor. Am I suggesting Bond itself should just be added to base kit? No, I'm not suggesting that at all. Should there be some form of it? Maybe. Same thing with like Kindred. Same thing with like Unbreakable. Same thing with like some form of anti-tunnel. It like, and the thing is, and you know, this comes down to argumentative stuff with like, and it comes with the territory of doing commentary channels and opinion channels. It's like you set out an opinion and people misinterpret your opinion, and then you second guess yourself and you're like, did I just word my argument incorrectly? Was I wrong with this opinion? And then you have to ask, or is it just people being reactionary and not understanding what you were trying to say?
And that is why I do not read comments anymore. I like people when I was first starting out, I was like, I am never going to be the kind of content creator that ignores comments. I'm gonna respond to fuck all that.
Yeah, I'm getting there.
Fuck all that, dude. You guys have like the first hour when I first post the video, and then like the first hour when I wake up, I will read the comments and see what you have to say. And then after that, I just completely ignore everything. And it's not a you know, hey, I hate you type of deal, or an arrogance or anything. It's just you get tired of seeing the same shit over and over again. Suffering from success head assery aside, like it literally gets exhausting fucking reading the same goddamn comment 25 times in a fucking day. And it's like, you know, whether you're disagreeing with me or what. When I say I don't read the comments, I do read the comments, but I don't pay them much mind most of the time because it's just simply not worth the mental sanity. And you won't understand that until you're in my position. Until you say some very controversial shit like the Wraith sucks, and then you have to sit back and watch as hundreds of people flood in to tell you how you actually only have 2 hours in this game and you've never touched Wraith and you're just reading the Wikipedia and you're stupid, before you'll understand that I really don't give a fuck what your arguments are for why the Wraith is good if none of you will listen to me in the first place. And that's another thing I try to tell people too. Like if you want to be a content creator and you see somebody directly misrepresent or misunderstand your argument, there is no point in responding to them.
No.
Because if they didn't listen to you the first time, they're not going to listen to you the second time. If you were as crystal clear as you could possibly be, and they didn't fucking listen to you the first time, they won't listen to you a second time. So don't even bother. Like, just don't even fucking bother. Well, unless they're genuinely like, hey, did I misunderstand, or is this what you said? Go for it, right? But if they come in with some arrogant shit, if you say I enjoy playing, or if you say, this is a common one for me, I think the Legion is boring to play against. If somebody comes in my comment section and is like, oh, the Legion is not even OP. What is your problem? They're so easy to counterplay.
I didn't say that.
Exactly. I'm not responding to you. I'm not responding to that. I'm not even going to bother because you obviously were not paying attention. You just heard me say I don't like Legion and automatically assumed it was because I think he's overpowered or something. I actually think Legion's fairly weak. They're just fucking boring.
Yeah. Well, because I mean, like, and the thing with that too is it's like the Unbreakable. I keep bringing this up because it's been on my mind all week, which it shouldn't be. I should be better about this, but that one, I arguably, I think is one of my worst videos I've ever done. But some of the comments brought up good points. That's what fucking kills me. Is the ones that don't or are calling me an idiot are hurting those people because now I don't even want to engage with them.
Yeah.
Right? It's like some people were like, well, if you did it this way instead, or like, well, it could be base kit, but there would have to be these stipulations, or like, well, it can't be base kit because of X, Y, and Z, and like they actually lay out their arguments. And I'm not talking like in an essay; it could be like a couple sentences or whatever. That's fine. But the people hurting them are the ones who are like, no, dumb shit, it can't be base kit. They tried that already. Okay.
Yeah, that's another thing. It's hard to like when I did my Odds Darva video, the one that's been since deleted due to massive amounts of death threats. When I did when I did the Odstarva video, there were people who were like legitimately trying to have like a solid conversation around what I was talking about. Unfortunately, even the people who were trying to be civil about it weren't paying the fuck attention. But I started banning people because every other comment I got was some stupid shit about how I hate aughts or don't like aughts or whatever the fuck may be, when the discussion wasn't really about aughts, it was about the way the community treats his work. And people just didn't want to fucking hear that. And so I was just like, well, I'm, even people who were trying to be civil about things, were just like, were diligently ignored because I got tired of fucking hearing bullshit from people.
Yeah, it's a damn shame. I mean, it's not even just YouTube creating. It happens on Twitch. It happens on Twitter. It happens everywhere. And once again, if you misunderstand what I'm saying and like you want a clarification, that's one thing. But if you misunderstand what I'm saying and you straight up like misquote me or say like I don't know how to explain it. Like if you just straight up like aren't even willing to try to hear my side of it and just be like, well, you're wrong, here's why, don't talk to me, why the fuck would I engage with that? Why wouldn't I just ban that person? Huh?
Exactly. Yeah. And that's how behavior feels. Why would they engage with what the community has to say when the community can't behave themselves? I have a video coming out next week actually about why I'm not doing tier lists anymore, and it's because the community cannot fucking behave themselves. The community legitimately does not know how to fucking how to like give constructive feedback, and so it ruins it for the people that actually do give constructive feedback, but it also ruins it for the rest of us who just want good changes. I am very, very scared that the reception to this patch of people like getting mad that behavior listened is going to discourage behavior from listening in the future. I am petrified that is going to happen.
Honestly,
and we are going to spiral into a world where behavior no longer listens to us.
Well, once again, to bring back the Unbreakable patch they did, I was scared for the same reason back then, because everyone was mad about it. People were pissed. Like, how could you possibly do this or think it was, first off, PTB? The main point of this, PT fucking B. It was there to test it. That was the whole point. That's how they, like, it just irritates me so much. They put it onto PTB specifically to test it. That was the whole point. Yes, it was probably a dumb idea, but they tested it, got community feedback, and they didn't do it. Okay? Now, because you people couldn't behave yourselves and got mad, and from what I understand, sent a bunch of death threats to behavior because of it, which I don't know what's wrong with you.
I'm not surprised.
I don't know what's wrong with you mentally to the point to where a video game company is affecting you so much you feel like you had to send them death threats. I don't care if this game is your entire life. That should never be your response in any way.
You know what it is? It's because this community does not know how to touch grass. I'm not even fucking kidding you. I was dealing with this today, but I was dealing with a similar situation today. But there's this guy on Reddit who posted on the thread where he was like, he made like a 3-paragraph post about being pissed off because someone blocked him.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was like, maybe take a walk, touch some grass. You're taking people blocking you way too seriously. And then he like started insulting my content. And then he was like, your YouTube's channel is dead after Aaron Duke nuked it, which Aaron boosted my channel.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I always find it funny when people see that Aaron made a video on me, but you can tell that they didn't watch the video he made on me. Because like he was supportive of me in that situation. That's always funny to me. But yeah, he was going off and off about that. But then I had somebody on my Lily Pie interview be transphobic about the pronouns that I put in the beginning of the video. And so I banned them, and then they spent the entire day yesterday creating 5 alternate accounts and spamming the comment section of all 4 of my YouTube channels, pissed off because they got banned for being transphobic. You people take this game way too goddamn seriously, and I say that as somebody who plays this game for a living.
Exactly. That's what always bothers me. It's like it's you're not even like you're just playing the game. You know what I mean? Like I don't make that much money from this game, but like Otts, True, Scott, you, Bran, like all of these actual content creators who are making a living from this game. We don't even take the shit that seriously. Like I don't understand how someone who's just playing this game casually, and I don't mean that as an insult. I'm just saying like they're not. When I say casually, I mean like this game isn't their. Well, maybe it is their entire lives from the way they're talking.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like how the fuck like, and you know with the whole blocking thing, it's like you saying that I'm like, man, and I think I'm spiteful sometimes, but that just puts it into perspective. Maybe I'm not.
Yeah, like it's and the thing is like I've been saying this for just such a long time that like again the Dead by Daylight community they're so up their own ass. They take everything way too goddamn seriously, and it's exhausting.
It is.
It's fucking exhausting to deal with as a creator, dude. Like, dude, please shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
like I'm begging you to please touch grass, do something. And as I'm not even saying this for my benefit, because like yeah, you're annoying me and I hate you for it. But like, how bad is your mental health that you're taking this shit this goddamn seriously? How bad is your mental health? Are you okay? Do you need a hug? Do you need a fucking hug? Do you need somebody to tell you that they love you? I love you. Does that help? Are you okay now? Do you feel cared for to where you don't fucking take a goddamn changes in a video game to the point that you're spewing slurs and sending death threats and shit at people? Like fucking doxing people and harassing them for months on end because you lost in a video game or because fucking changes happened to a video game that you didn't like. Are you okay? Mentally, are you well? No? Find a different coping mechanism.
It's and I don't want to make this a societal thing, but it's an attachment issue. That's all it comes down to. It's
people who never got fucking loved in their goddamn life. It's so sad.
Mm-hmm.
And like I genuinely feel bad for these people sometimes. I genuinely do. Because like brother, like I'm sorry that your life has gone so poorly that you're at this point where you're this bitter toward people. Man, like over video games, it's ridiculous. It is so insane to me.
Yeah,
and it's like I could never be a game developer.
Mm-hmm.
I could never be a fucking video game developer. I'd kill myself. I'm not even kidding you. Like I made a change you didn't like, and now all of a sudden my home address is on the internet for some fucking reason. Like, holy shit, dude! I could never do it.
It's a weird because once again, you know, I talk about how I'm a manager and like I'm in charge of people, but I feel bad when like I have to like assign someone get rid of their day off because I needed someone else to come in. Like I sit on that shit for weeks. Like I can't imagine being a game developer where like I made a change that like made like, you know, 1 million people mad, and now I'm like, oh my god, am I even like worthy of being alive right now? Like and it shouldn't come to that, but like it's
like people forget like fuck. There's real people on the other side of the screen, dude.
Mm-hmm.
There's real people on the other side of the screen. Like I need you to calm down.
It's just I don't even know where we started with the PTB topic with this, but you know, back to the whole death threat thing too. Like I'm not that big, but I think I can count on my hand how many I've gotten for some videos. But that shit is just it's demoralizing and makes me wonder why I even do what I do. And I'm not even. And the sad thing is I don't even make that much money from this. Like I'm not even making a living off this, so I could just quit at any point. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it's just like it makes you ask the question, like, do these people just want you to quit?
Yeah.
and it's yeah,
They do. They 100% do. The way people approach this game, the way people approach this game is in such a way that approach videos is that if you say things they don't like or things that they disagree with, they want you to just not make content.
mm-hmm.
They want you off the internet, and they'll do everything in their power to get it done.
Yeah, and I think another thing it comes down to is even the more business sided YouTubers. I won't once again name names, but like even the more ones that like have a whole team making videos and whatnot. You mentioned it earlier, but it's like there's still a person on the other side of that fucking screen. Like, like people make mistakes. People, once again, with opinions, it's like just because I say one thing and then like 2 weeks later I make a video that might contradict what I said, might being the key word there, but I didn't think it contradicted it. That happens. Don't sit on your high horse and act like you don't have hot takes that make no fucking sense. Not you, like commenters, but yeah, like people in general. Like, and that's the other thing. Like sometimes I'll scroll through these comments, and I'm not trying to viewer shame or channel shame with this, but I'll look at it and I'll be like, okay, this guy doesn't even make videos. He has like 2 subs. He doesn't have a Twitch. So he doesn't even know.
Oh, I'll shame the fuck out of you. I'll shame the goddamn dude. If you start attacking me, holy crap, I pull no fucking punches. I had one dude one time where he was like, your content is trash. And I checked his channel and he had 1,300 videos and only like 80 subscribers. I was like, oh, we want to talk about trash content. Oof. Oh, that's where you want to go. That's where you want to go. Oof. You want to really try me? I'll fucking lay your ass out, bitch. Like I will put like you attack my insecurities, I will attack yours. I return energy. Do not fuck with me. I'm an ass. Like people all the time are like, Kaiser, you're so wholesome and no, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm a dick. I'm not like a massive dick. I'm not like a bigoted dick. I'm not ever going to be like fat phobic or make fun of somebody's appearance or use hateful slurs or anything, but I'm a jackass. I will find what you are most insecure about and I will fucking hit that button over and over again. Leave me alone.
It's like when people in my community, and God bless them, but they're like they're like, man, Bennett, you like never really get that upset or mad at things. Oh no, I do. You guys just don't see it. And if I am genuinely upset about something, the fucking planet will know. Like I don't get mad often, but when I do, yeah, it's not pretty. It is not pretty. It takes a lot, and usually it's only when people lie to me. That's like the only thing that actually pisses me off. But like genuinely pisses me off. But yeah, I think
understood the point of lighting.
What? Of lying?
I said I've never understood the point of lying.
It's a. I mean, like, I'm not gonna sit here and say like, oh, I never lie about anything. Like, if someone's like, does this dress make me look fat?
Yeah.
No, you look great.
I don't lie.
Mm-hmm.
But I do what I call fairy lying. I lie by omission.
Ah, okay.
I lie by omission. If I think something's gonna hurt somebody's feelings and they don't deserve it, then I just won't say anything.
Yeah, that's
like that's like unrelated topic, but that's why I hate when people comment on other people's appearances like completely unprovoked. Because it's like, dude, I've seen people I think are hideous, but they ain't did shit. Why would I fucking say anything, dude? Like, why would I openly be like, wow, I think you're ugly? It's such a weird thing to say. Well, don't get me wrong, I've seen it. I've seen some people that are literally so unattractive, I want to throw up. But they're not doing anything, bro. They're just chilling. So, like, why would I say some shit? Like, it's just so weird to me that you just go out of your way to make people's day worse for literally no reason.
Well, I mean, that comes back with the comment thing, with YouTube to a degree. It's like, y'all know you don't have to comment, right?
Oh my god. When I posted my Trapper video, somebody was like, I am not watching an hour and a half video on the Trapper.
The fuck did you comment for?
Yeah, like, what the, like, who asked? I'm sorry, I didn't realize I was fucking putting out a goddamn survey.
Yeah,
on why you weren't watching the video. Like, figure it the fuck out, my dude.
I did a I've talked to them about it, so they've learned their lesson. But the person who said on my Pixie interview, who is like, yeah, I don't really like Pixie, so I'm not gonna watch this. But I hope everyone else enjoys. And I was like, bro, why did you say that? No
If
one,
you
you didn't
don't,
need to say that. Like, cool, you don't like her, whatever. But like, it doesn't need to be
if
public
you
knowledge.
yeah, if you don't like Pixie, I inherently don't trust you as a person. Like that is like one of the very few people in this world that is impossible to dislike, and if you don't like them, I do not trust you as a person. I fully believe if you dislike Z and Pixie, then you are a person I do not want in my life. You dislike me, I get it. Like I said, I'm a fucking jackass. There is plenty of shit to dislike about me, but who could possibly not like Pixie? She's sweet, she's energetic, she's funny, she's like cool to be around. Like, it's so weird, dude. Hey, you're a weird person.
But yeah, that was one of my biggest fears with bringing on like Huntress mains, Western mains, and Blight mains. I made this very evident. They're the three mains that I am terrified at whoever I bring on, because no matter who it is, I can promise you one of their fans or like a bunch of their fans are going to be in the comments just being like, "Oh, bro, you should have got this person. I don't like this person. They don't play Huntress right."
Oh
Or
my god, yeah, dude. Like if you get fucking like let's say you get hexed, there'll probably be comments like, "Why didn't you get coconuts?" Fucking like if you it blight. See, the only blight main I know of is Lilith and Momo Seventh,
mm-hmm.
and people would complain if you brought either of those people on. Like,
Fine. I'll bring 7 Blightmanes on, and then we can all have
yeah,
the most more rambly conversation than normal. It'll happen. It's yeah, and like I said, the community in this game is, and that's the sad thing. It's so sad because it's not just Dead by Daylight. I see this happen with me in League. This happened with me in Overwatch, Apex. A lot of these games I enjoyed the hell out of. It was always the communities that just made it unbearable.
it's definitely a huge problem. It's one of those things where Overwatch 1 I quit because of the community. Overwatch 2 I don't play that much because the developers have just completely fucked it. Apex I quit because of the developers, but the community was also always the community in Apex is very clout chasey.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, they're so clout chasey.
I can see it.
Um but the Dead by Daylight community, I actually know somebody who was in my or they are in my community, but they don't play the game anymore because of the Dead by Daylight community because they got fucking sick and tired of it because they got sick and tired of trying to ask like innocent questions and getting railed for it. Like they were like they told me one time they posted on the Reddit about why people think Trapper is weak
Mm-hmm.
because they didn't really understand it.
Okay.
And instead of it being calmly explained to them that like, hey, he's slow, he's the only killer that has to collect his power,
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't really have anything to help him out. Instead of calmly explaining that, people are like, "What are you stupid? Did you just start yesterday?"
What are
And
you?
she was like, what?" And they were like, "Yeah, dude, like learn to play the game before you start asking these questions." Like, dude, like and I've never seen that with another community. Like in the Overwatch community, if you ask a genuine question, as arrogant as that community is, they'll try to help you.
Mm-hmm.
They'll try. They'll do their best. But in the Dead by Daylight community, don't ever ask a question. Don't fucking ever do it. Holy shit.
Yeah, and
This
like,
community is so up their own asses, dude.
well, like I played Rainbow Six Siege for a while, and they added map bans to the game because they weren't always there. And when they added map bans, something that kept happening was because it would be 3 maps, and each side got to ban a map. That's how it worked. And what would happen is, because the community was so vitriolic about this map sucks, it would be like the same 3 or 4 maps over and over and over and over again. And then the developers would make new maps, right? Because everyone was asking for new maps. Hey, we want more maps. We want new maps and all this stuff. You know what happened the moment the new maps came out?
Hmm.
They would be instantly banned by both sides
Jesus Christ.
because they were new and no one knew them. And this kind of goes back to the whole PTB thing with like Does Dead by Daylight, does the community just not want change, but somehow wants it to change? Because
No, that's exactly what it is.
because
That I'm like it's funny to think about, but that's exactly I have learned so much. I have a video that I have planned. I'm actually going to go back to scripting videos. A little bit teaser for everybody who's a fan of mine who watches your content. I'm going back to scripting all of my videos instead of bullet points. But in any case, I have a video right now working on whether or not Dead by Daylight is the worst gaming community. They're not, by
they're
the
not.
way. They're
No,
just the most
no.
they're just the most annoying.
Hmm.
But a big part of that video is going to be on the fact that the community is like hypocritical. I don't think hypocritical is the word. They're self-defeating isn't the word either. I'm trying to think of it. They simultaneously want change but don't want change. There's a word for it. But they basically they're basically the equivalent of that dog meme where it's like please throw, and then the owner reaches for the frisbee, and then the dog is like no take, only
Uh
throw.
huh.
Like that's what the Dead by Daylight community is. They're like please improve, no touch game, only improve.
Yeah.
And then the developers are sitting there like what do you want?
Yeah.
Because like again, behavior likes to play things safe, but the way to get them out of that bubble is to stop being a little bitch about everything and stop insulting the developers whenever they do something you don't like.
Yeah, like I know, and this is funny. 6.1. So like Iron Will, like I know, a lot of my friends who play this game legitimately quit once Iron Will got nerfed.
Was
I,
it ever that serious?
like I wasn't even. I'm not even joking. I know at least 6 to 10 people who quit because Iron Will got nerfed. And
That's
yeah,
ridiculous.
yeah, I know. I told them that, and they were like, "No, it was the only perk I enjoyed." Okay, all right. Nothing against them. Like I still talk to some of them, but yeah, it's one of those things. It's like even a small change like that, and even then, it's like I didn't even fully agree with the nerf either. But it's like them changing something like that is not going to make me quit the game, right? And I don't understand how people have this mentality where if like right now, a lot of people are like, oh, if they nerf adrenaline, like that was a big one. Like, oh, if they nerf adrenaline, I'm quitting the game. How many of those fucking posts did I see? Like, and then they nerfed adrenaline, and most of those people aren't leaving. So,
Yeah.
I
People are so dramatic.
well, once again, I won't name names, but people know who I'm talking about. We get a bunch of videos of content creators being like, "I'm leaving the game. Um, I'm never coming back," and it's like I get it. It's kind of for your community to say that, but at the same time, like, is it necessary to make a grand entrance or not entrance, but a grand exit?
Hmm.
Like I said, for the sake of your community, sure, but like, oh, usually the thumbnail is like really, really elaborate, and the title is like something like "Dead by Daylight is dying" or something like that. So
Yeah.
clearly, you wanted other people to click on it, right? Um, so it's like you leaving this game, and that's the other thing. Like behavior doesn't care unless people leave in droves. They don't care. They're not going to. It's a matter of business, right?
Yeah.
Um, Same with like the PTB changes. Same with anything like that. It's like if behavior releases a PTB that everyone hates, unless everyone legitimately just stops playing the game at the same time for an extended period of time, they don't care. Like as much as we like to think, like we can change how they think or how they operate, we really can't. If the
I
money,
mean, we can change how they think, but we have to be smart about it.
Mhm.
The smart thing is to be respectful with your criticism and be loud about it as well.
Right? Yeah, yeah, that's fair. I'm just saying, like with like I said with the twins we were all loud and very clear on what we wanted changed, and they did it.
Hmm.
And then we got
Exactly.
mad at, and once again, then we got mad at them for changing it. It's like, okay, that's sending mixed signals. What the fuck are they supposed to take from that?
Yeah, I wouldn't know how to react to that.
Um, it's just once again the community seems like like I say this about a lot of games, but and developers often will say this. They've avoided saying it recently, I've noticed, but you know, players don't really don't know what they want.
Hmm.
At least most of the time. It's just, oh, we want to stop slugging. Well, here's a way to stop slugging. Oh, I don't like that. Okay. We want to rework
And then
twins.
they don't offer solutions. That pisses me off
Mm,
so much.
I had
That
a,
pisses. Oh my god, dude! I fucking one thing that I said when I first started making content was that I was never going to complain just for the sake of complaining. I was always going to try to um, I was always going to try to offer solutions to what I wanted done,
Mhm.
and it was because when I watched the community complain, bro, they just say shit. They're
Yeah.
just like, "Oh, this is bad." Okay, well, what should we do about it instead? I don't know, but it's bad.
You gonna
Fuck do you mean?
you gonna say
Like,
why it's bad?
yeah.
At the
Or
least.
they give it like a lot of reasons as to why it's bad, but then they still don't offer anything,
Mhm.
in they still don't offer anything like useful. Like, oh, this is bad because it is not fun and unengaging. Okay, well what would you do to make it more fun and engaging? I don't know, I'm not a game developer. Okay. Yeah. You know what? That's my bad for asking. That's on me. You are correct.
Well, yeah, and then it's like with Scamper for Chucky, I advocate for changes for it all the time, and I put up solutions, and I'm like, well, here's how they could change it to make it better and more interactive and all that stuff. And then people will just be like, no.
Yeah.
Would you care to deconstruct my
Which-
argument and tell me
yeah.
your solution? No.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh, uh, Okay, so I'm out here giving my solution, and apparently I'm the bad guy. Okay, all right, I see how it is. Okay, like, and once again, that's why I don't envy the devs. I don't, or of any video game. It's just like you can't win. I mean, even with like I did the video talking about the tutorial and how it could be better, and I reacted to the Mint Skull one for it, and I got a comment from the same person on both of those videos saying how I don't understand why everyone in multiplayer games needs to be babied on how everything works. Why can't they just figure it out? What?
Yeah, I'm gonna figure out how something works by not understanding how anything works.
Their argument was, well, people don't need to be told the full story of a movie. Yeah, because that's a passive medium.
Yeah,
Like if
how am I supposed to figure out that Xeno's tail attack is 4.8 meters? I have no way of knowing that. Have you ever tried to look at Xeno's tail attack from a first person perspective? That shit is always longer than you think it is and
Mhm,
shorter than you think it is.
mhm,
Like, there's no way to understand that. There's no way you're ever gonna figure that out.
mhm. And my point with was no, they don't have to explain everything. Like I'm not sitting here for them to be like, Chucky can scamper under a pallet at 1.35 meters a second. Like that should be somewhere. Like if you go in the description enough, like you open up the killer description, like it tells you what the power does, and then you can click on sections to get more specifics. But
Behavior hates giving me numbers.
I hate giving everyone
They
numbers.
hate they hate giving me numbers, and it irritates the shit out of me. Every time I'm on the PTB and testing out a new killer and they're like, this killer can do blah blah blah, or it'll be something like with the unknown, one of his add-ons was like, oh, spawns one less hallucination and makes the hinder 20% longer or something like that.
Hmm.
And I was like, how many hallucinations spawn? How long is the hinder normally? Numbers! Give me numbers!
Yeah, it's not like giving people oh it'll mean people know too much and they won't learn it on their own. There's still other shit to learn. Like once again, it's a multiplayer game. If not everyone knows the rules or has access to knowing the rules in the game, someone's going to be like, "Oh, well, you can watch a YouTube video or go on the wiki." They shouldn't have to.
I mean, Minskull brought up a great point. No other multiplayer game just outright leaves mechanics out of its tutorials.
That could be argued to a degree, but yeah, yeah.
No game I've ever played If they have a tutorial, like Overwatch doesn't have a tutorial, but like,
Yes, it does.
no, it does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
God, it's been so long since I first played that
Yeah,
fucking
it
game.
explains. I don't know if they've updated it, but when Overwatch 2 came out, they didn't explain the new game mode in the tutorial.
But but like, there's just like straight up mechanics just don't like behavior. Just like they never mention totems, they never mention fucking chests. I think there needs to be a tutorial for every single killer. Like as soon as you buy a killer, there's a tutorial for it.
I just a video. Like you know what? Fuck it. Here's what you do. Take the videos you
Yeah.
put on YouTube when the killers release, put them in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Would that be that difficult? I don't think so. Like at the very least, like have a link or something. Like I used to. I don't know if you know how Warframe works. That is a game where you basically have to have a wiki
Oh
opened.
yeah, yeah.
Because the game explains literally nothing. It is the biggest criticism about that game. It's one of those ones where once you get into it, you're fine, but like the new player experience is it tries, but it doesn't do a good job at it.
I thought the tutorial was pretty good for Warframe. Again, but of course I haven't played Warframe in ages.
Well,
I haven't. I played Warframe before they did the open world
mhm.
stuff.
Well,
So I have no idea how it is now.
it explains the basics, like how the movement works and how the shooting works, but it doesn't like and it does explain other stuff, but it's all like text.
Yeah.
It's always text, and I get it for some things like the mod system. Yeah, it probably has to be text. Like I get that, but like basic stuff like actual movement, like you don't even actually get the tutorial on like advanced movement until you hit level 7 in the game, which could take hours.
Mm-hmm.
Um and it's like, okay, why couldn't you give this to me when I started as at least an option?
Right.
Because I mean, Dead by Daylight's tutorial. I mean, me and Mint basically brought up the same point with a few of it. It wasn't necessarily that it didn't teach anything. It's that a lot of the stuff it was teaching was just wrong, or like
Yeah.
teaching bad habits. Like that, I think that's worse than not teaching at all. Personally,
Yeah.
because like the tutorial doesn't even talk about looping.
No. A core aspect of the game. It doesn't even do that. You are
Yeah,
correct.
yeah, it's so strange. Like it's just it does. I don't even think it's really like a simple like here's a rock and a pallet, run around it. Like would that be so hard?
Yeah.
Um, maybe they don't want to ruin their tutorial map. Maybe that's what it is. But
I will say that the tutorial map does look pretty.
it does. It does. I got a lot of comments on that actually. They're like, the game should go back to this lighting. Yeah, probably should. Um, but let's say that. But back on the topic of PTBs, it's like if they had a PTB where all it was them just adjusting the tutorial to see if it was better and to get feedback from like veterans. Um, I'm pretty sure people would be pissed.
Oh yeah.
This PTB didn't have anything. It's improving the new player experience, at least testing to see ways they could. Like that is something. It's just like with this one, like don't get me wrong, I'm a little upset that we don't really have too much with this PTB, but it's like it's they tried. And
Yeah.
I know some people are like don't like the idea of, oh no, they shouldn't try, they should just know and do.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, once again, it's just not how people work. I
Yeah. It's
just
just. I mean, it's just. And again, like I always say, game balance is hard, guys.
mm-hmm.
Game balance is fucking hard, and like there's just you cannot expect the developers of a game to have enough time to get as good at this game as the rest of us are.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as some of us are. Most of you are dog shit, but that's another discussion entirely.
Well,
Um, like you can't expect that.
yeah,
You really can't.
I mean, like I work 60 to 80 hour weeks. I make daily YouTube content. I am on the Reddit, the Twitter, the forums. I watch YouTube, etc., etc. I stream 3 days a week for 3 hours. So I play this game and I do community nights. I stream the. By the way, join the Discord if you want to be part of the community nights. I stream this. I play this game maybe 10 hours a week, 10 to 12 hours a week. Some would
Mm-hmm.
say that's not enough for me to even know what I'm talking about, even though I have 1,500 hours in the game. And it's like the behavior devs, I seriously doubt after they work on the game all day, they go home and play the game.
Yeah.
Like
Some probably do,
yeah,
but like not most.
yeah. But even if they do, they're probably not grinding it like the rest of us are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, they probably don't play the game like as much or as intensely as the rest of us, which is fine. I don't think a developer needs to be an absolute. I think they should have someone on the team who is an absolute like expert at the game. Um, at least one or two people who are, so they can get like their feedback. But like, I don't think everyone there needs to be like I don't like I've never understood the idea of like because people used to talk about this with League. It's like no one on the Riot development team is above platinum. That's like platinum is like right above average.
Yeah.
That's in my opinion that's more than enough to like know what they're doing. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but they don't get the experience of like the top level people. It, the like the less than 1% of people, them. Okay.
And I'll tell you something too. That is another thing that like happens a lot where people are like, oh well they need more people that know what they're talking about. But then when somebody like fucking Otz makes a video, then everybody's complaining because they're scared his opinion is going to shift the game.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want them to have experienced people talking about the game or not? It goes back to what we said earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Improvement, no touch game, only improvement.
Yeah.
You don't know what you jackasses, y'all don't know what you fucking want. You have no unearthly idea what you want out of anything, and it's annoying. You're like a fucking toddler who keeps wanting macaroni. That fucking Courage the Cowardly Dog scene where she wants macaroni and cheese, and no matter how Courage makes it, she's not fucking happy with it. That's what you all are.
It's
God, I've got to be the most bitter content creator toward the DBD community, dude. Like I am so people sometimes tell me they're like, how are you ever going to become a famous content creator when you talk to people like this? I don't know. Like you guys still like listening to me for some reason, but I don't think a single content creator hates the Dead by Daylight community as much as I do. I'm telling you, dude. I fucking hate this community.
I think a lot of them just ignore it. I think that's really what it comes down to. Yeah, because it's like how do you like do they want someone who is both an expert at the game but also is playing the game like casually, completely apathetically?
What they want is they want somebody in they want somebody who agrees with them and only them.
Ah,
That is what they want out of out of all of this.
mm-hmm.
And you can tell that that's what it is because every time you point to somebody who like is good at the game and disagrees with them, they go, "Oh, well that doesn't count."
Doesn't uh, yeah, I'm sure. I mean, not to bring up your Otts video, but it's like we like I don't agree with everything Otts says. I don't, and I don't think everyone should. Like there isn't such a thing, and I think people forget because this is a bias I feel people don't talk about enough. There is a thing called expertise bias, which is basically when people are like, "Oh, he's an expert." So everything he says about this subject is absolutely true and shouldn't be questioned.
Yeah.
And that's once again with a lot of things, it's not that simple. Like
no, exactly.
Like even doctors, people who've gone to medical school, even if you ask two doctors who've been doing doctoring, for lack of a better word, who have been doctors for 10 years. If you bring them the same patient, they will both have different opinions on how to handle the patient.
Yeah.
They're both experts. They both know what they're talking about. But they have different life experiences. They had different professors, different teachers. They've dealt with different patients over the years. So they both have different ideas of how something should be fixed. It doesn't necessarily mean either of them is wrong. It just means you can't take them exactly at their word at all times. And, it's a doctor. That's the whole point is I should take them at their word. No, you never gone to a doctor who is an idiot. It happens.
You're not fat if you think doctors can't be idiots. I guarantee you're not fat if you think doctors can't be idiots. Because holy fucking shit, some of the doctors I've dealt with in my life has been just the most fucking asinine people in the entire fucking world. Like, my foot gets blown off in a goddamn bomb shelter, and the doctor's like, "Well, have you tried losing weight?" And that's not gonna fix the fact I'm missing a foot, jackass. Like,
It's
one time I got hit by a car, broke 3 ribs, and the doctor was like, "Has anybody ever talked to you about your weight? What does that have to do with the fact that drunk driver hit me? I would like to know. Like, does that have anything to do with what we're talking about now? No, shut the fuck up then."
it's yeah, like I said, it's just like just because someone's a subject matter expert doesn't mean everything they say is gospel. They are allowed to be questioned. In fact, if they know what they're doing, like I've always said this, if you want to know if your doctor's good, ask them a question you know they don't know the answer to and see what they say.
Mm-hmm.
If their response is some bullshit that makes no sense, they're not a good doctor. If their response is, I don't know, let me go see, they're an amazing doctor. That is the doctor you want. One who's willing to say, I don't know. Same with with to bring it back to DBD content creators, it's like Otz doesn't know everything. He doesn't. He's admitted to this at multiple times. Sometimes he gets misinformation or information incorrect, and he will correct himself when he gets the proper information. He doesn't take his community necessarily at its word either. So if someone corrects him, he'll be like, okay, let me look into that. It's not to be dismissive. That's just him wanting to cover his bases.
Yeah. No, exactly.
Yeah, it's like, but people will see that and they'll be like, oh, Ott said this thing this one time and it was wrong, therefore he's not actually that good at this game.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's exactly like, yeah, dude, it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
and that's the whole point of this discussion is that the Dead by Daylight community just cannot be trusted with like not being shit for brains.
Mm-hmm.
They really can't. Like I said, if you can find me a content creator who hates the Dead by Daylight community more than me, I'll applaud them. Because I don't think anybody hates the Dead by Daylight community as much as I do. I'm not kidding. I hate this fucking community. You guys are insufferable. Y'all are truly some of the most insufferable people I've ever dealt with in my entire fucking life. I feel bad. I feel bad for saying that because I have good community members. I have people in my community who I genuinely I genuinely enjoy having around, and obviously it's not all bad. Like, most of my problems probably come from a very just loud minority. Like, most people in the community are probably chill as shit, but like some of you guys are just insufferable. I can't stand you motherfuckers.
It's the idea, and it was probably going to misinterpret what I'm about to say, but I hate the community. I don't hate individuals in the community.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah, there's a line in Mass Effect 2, and I played this game 200 times. There's a line in Mass Effect 2. I don't know if you played Mass Effect before, but there's a character called Grunt who's a Krogan, and the way they work is basically their entire society's basically been desterilized. So it wasn't a genocide, but it was a genocide. Complicated. Anyways, by two of the other races. And they're like, and one of them is on your crew, and they're like, oh, so you don't hate him? Well, no, I hate Turians, but I don't hate him.
Yeah.
Like once again, someone's gonna misinterpret what I just said, but the point is that I can hate the community and still love people that are in it.
Mm-hmm. Oh no. That's the big thing with me. One of my favorite quotes from from one of my favorite movies is Men in Black. Tommy Lee says it. Tommy Lee Jones says it. The person is smart. People are stupid, panicky animals, and you know it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I feel about the Dead by Daylight community. The Dead by Daylight community is the Dead by Daylight community, or the individual in the community is great. The Dead by Daylight community is fucking atrocious.
Mm-hmm. It's just, and once again, sorry, I have to put forward Joe on. It's one of those things where like I say, this is a more overall gaming issue in my opinion, because it's mostly just, honestly, it's weird to say, it's mostly video game communities. Because yeah, there's film buffs and like film because I'm part of a lot of those too. Yeah, there's some of the shitheads, but like for the most part, most people are pretty chill.
Oh
And
yeah, gamers are fucking losers.
someone who's
Just absolute fucking losers, dude. Holy shit! Like from my entire life, I have. It's kind of like how I feel about '90s kids. Like I
mhm,
am one.
mhm.
I fucking hate '90s kids. Shut the fuck up. Holy crap. Oh my god, these kids nowadays, you sound just like the old people we've always hated. Please shut up.
The generational saturation is what it's called. Um,
Like, holy shit, dude.
it's yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm sure you've seen. This is completely off topic, but I'm sure you've seen the quotes of like, yeah, every generation says the new generation is lazy. It's just how
Yeah,
people work.
yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah. I've seen that so many times, dude.
yeah, even in the 1920s, they were saying people were lazy, and that's the generation that's yelling at us right now that we're all lazy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I think we'll wrap it up here. But like in short, the PTB I think should what it's for and what the community seems to think it's for are two completely separate things. And
Mm-hmm.
I think the community needs to and just repeat what you said, get out of their own ass and fucking take what's happening for what it is and not what it could be.
Yeah.
Um,
There's valid criticisms of this PTB, and one of the valid criticisms is that this PTB feels empty. I agree with you wholeheartedly. I agree with anybody who says that it does feel empty, but just be genuine about it. Like actually complain about real shit and not fucking making up shit like, oh, we waited 2 years for quality of life changes. You know damn well that's not what happened.
mhm.
But yeah.
All right, Kaiser. Well, I'll let you go. If you would like to tell people where they can find you again, links will always be below. By the way, I basically have a fourth of your viewer base, so I'm pretty sure that most of them know.
It's kind of like me shouting out Bran. We share like 80% of our 80% of our fucking like 80% of
Viewers.
our viewers are like the same people.
Hmm.
But yeah, no, like like he said, like Bennett said, links will be in the description, and you can also find me in your wildest dreams. So
That explains so much. All right. Well, everyone who made it to the end of this, and this is a little longer. This is just a normal video, not a podcast. But yeah. Anyways, I love y'all as always. Have a good one. If you have any thoughts, always put them below. I do genuinely read them. I know we were being a little rude to the commenters. I do read every comment. Okay. I just don't respond to all of them because it's not worth my time most of the time. But I do read every comment as much as it hurts my fucking head sometimes.
I don't fuck you guys.
Anyways, I love y'all. Have a good one, and bye.
Bye.